nice way, y'all. We don't give a shit.
Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. We're going to do a Sooner post-game show along with talk a little bit about USC getting beat by coaches, Notre Dame fighting Irish as well. But if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Welcome in, Coach. Good win today for your boys.
Hey, good to be here, man. Well, we I tell you what, I was really impressed at the end of the day with USC. I mean, they fought hard.
Yeah, well, they did some things that you really wasn't expecting, but I saw what we kind of expected to see for that game is, a lot of you tried to line up and out physical them. You know what I mean? Hey, Legend, we're going to cook for a little while, man. We may bring you on towards the end here in just a little bit, but we're going to cook for a little bit. But yeah, look, obviously Oklahoma didn't look as well. They came out with a hell of a game plan a week ago against Alabama. It's not the same game plan that we saw tonight, though, obviously, and it's something that kind of bugs me. We talked about it during the game, you and I did, and it just seems like one time after another, we continuously saw this season that this offense just didn't have a competent attack or game plan, whatever you want to call it. What did you see tonight? I'll let you go ahead and start. Or not. Or not. Looks like we lost him for a second. Welcome into the show, everybody. Sooner Legends Podcast. Mike Crossland, Nathan Campbell, John Russell, Hankster. Good to see you, Hankster. Ryman Lemon. It looks like Ryman Lemon was out of here, though. Charles Crows Fly High. Good to see you guys. We'll see what's going on here in just a second. Nathan Campbell. Glad everybody's in here. Hope I got everybody over here from the last show we did with K. Chris and those guys. A couple of people that are, they're talking some ish, about what my feelings were about Jackson Arnold at the start of the year as compared to now. God forbid, a man that actually decides, things are a little bit damn different, at the end of the season after he's seen everything all that time. I don't know why you would expect me to believe the same thing about him later in the year, but it is what it is, I guess. Welcome in, Big Trap. Welcome into the show, Big Trap. Good to see you, my guy. Yeah, it's sucky season, sucky way to finish it off. You go in there feeling like you got a little bit of momentum on your side a little bit, and you don't end up finishing the job. It sucks, man. It does. It kind of sucks. But, look, here's the thing. I think that when you go back and you look at the fact that you had so many injuries, all that kind of stuff, as what we saw throughout the year, the top 6 receivers being out, it didn't help either. But I don't think that even if you had those guys, I still don't think that we end up feeling like it was the same kind of success. We would have ended up with the kind of success that we wanted because of the fact that you just didn't have a competent game plan. That's just my feelings on it. Anyway, yeah, let's see. Same views as me on DeMarco. Yeah, that got a little hot there with me and Chris Mason a few minutes ago. But Coach, I lost you there for a second. I was just going to say, we talked about it during the game. Talked about it during the game that this just didn't seem like it was the right game plan coming into it. You don't have a great defensive line. I know they looked pretty good tonight, but it felt like you could have leaned on them a little bit at times, and it just didn't kind of work it out. It just didn't seem like that was the game plan that they had.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I was really impressed with the offensive line of USC. That gum, they did a good job blocking it
Oh, you're talking SC
today.
still.
We brought pressure. I'm sorry. I'm
No, no,
sorry.
no,
I
no, no.
thought you
We're
were
good. We're good.
talking.
Well, let's talk about that too. Let's talk.
No, a lot of correlation there. I mean, I think on both
Right.
sides.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
for sure.
not sure game plan was great. Uh, but no, I just from our perspective, I just we never really got a lot of pressure on their quarterback, and he did a good job throwing the ball. He's legit. I'm not sure. I don't like him better than some of the quarterbacks he's had in the past. He was impressive.
I kind of wanted to
But
go on talking about those guys. I mean, if we're going to talk about that, and that's cool. Jaden Mayava should have been the starter a long time ago, if you ask me. I mean, I think that they could have probably salvaged their season and been a lot better if they'd have had him in.
I
He's won the last 2 games coming into this one. You know, he had beaten UCLA, and then the week before that, I forget who it was that they beat, but they got a couple of wins out of it. So to me, I looked at it in terms of he's a dynamic type of guy that, kind of similar to what you saw at times from Caleb Williams. I think he's a little more coachable as far as is not freelancing as much. But this is a guy that kind of did his thing. But in the end, I think that it still came down to what we talked about with Notre Dame and SC was the fact that you guys went in there with the mentality of hitting their asses in the mouth. Now, did they kind of swing back and play toe to toe with you for a while? Sure, but in the end,
they did.
Defensively, Notre Dame brings something that not a lot of other programs bring to the table, and they're going to get you in a lot of ways. You're great up front. The secondary, even though they picked on the one guy, he ended up with that 93-yard interception return for a touchdown.
Yeah, not 99-yarder. 99-yarder for a touchdown, and then we turn around. Watts takes 100 to the house.
Yeah.
So two interceptions for 199 yards and a touchdown and 2 touchdowns, which was the difference in the ball game. But they did pick on our corner a little bit, but he stayed in the moment and fought back and made a big play. So. But no, that's enough about my Irish. I just wanted to touch on that and give kudos to.
I've been taking a lot of heat for what I have to say, but I think that Notre Dame may be the most complete football team in the country, from top to, because they have a great defense. They'll bully you on the offensive line. They'll bully you on the defensive line. This is the most complete team in the country. I think that if you have any holes whatsoever, it might be on one side of that secondary. But I also know that they're the type that they're going to clean that up whenever it kind of rolls, whenever it all comes down to it. Getting over to Oklahoma.
Well, and I don't know, Jason, if Jason, I was going to say, I don't know if people realize this or not, but we're down several corners from when we started the year. One was an All-American, and so we're probably a little soft there. But moving on, buddy.
Yeah. Well, and Trap House says that Notre Dame back is the true. They got 2 true badass running backs, and they like to use them both. They had some big runs today, but it's really they play bully ball, man. And I think it works out very well for them the way that they do it. And you've had a lot of offensive line guys that went down this year to start off the year as well, and so tells you a lot about the way that they do things there at Notre Dame as far as that O-line is concerned.
Yeah, no doubt. And we started 2 true freshmen, and what was it when we started against A&M? Well, our offensive line had 6 total starts, including all the offensive linemen. And so they've done a great job. They really have.
You know what? I'm glad that we did start off the conversation talking about Notre Dame, because, and I'll tell you why. Last year, what did I say to you in the text message that I sent earlier today? That just, I was talking about how sick to death I am of watching this offense and the fact that there wasn't any rhyme or reason to what we're doing. And I went back to thinking, I can see now why you were so pissed off all last year, because you had a hell of a defense, you had a great offensive line, you had a great running back, they were unbelievably good, but they did not have a plan that allowed them to be successful when it came down to playing against the best teams that you're going to play against. They just didn't have it.
Yeah. Sound familiar?
It is familiar. It's exactly what's going on with this program at Oklahoma right now. We've traded offense for defense, but you can't trade one for the other. You cannot do it.
No.
You just can't do it.
You cannot, Jason. You're exactly right.
Yeah, Kyle. JA is not going to Notre Dame, bro. They've got a full-ass quarterback room right now. They got a full-ass quarterback room right now. He didn't get on the field.
We've taken a couple of guys out of the portal, but at quarterback for the last 2 years, but we're now set with what we've recruited, and we're going to be fine with the guys we've got.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Complimentary football says Trap. You ain't wrong. Hey guys, I don't know. I've said this a bunch of times when Trap tells me it's Easter, it's time to color them eggs. So you're not wrong on this one. But what I'm saying is that really last year, coach was pissed off all year because they just couldn't get it going offensively, and they were still close. They were so close to making it. I think that it looks a lot worse for Oklahoma this year right now. They do have an elite defense. They've got an offensive line that the people that are going to come in here and say the offensive line just sucks, they've been really good for the last month. Really good for the last month. Did they give up some today? Did they get Jackson hit a little bit? Yeah. They also didn't run anywhere close to the kind of type of game plan that we saw for Alabama. Not whatsoever. Not whatsoever. To me, I think it's very clear that last week, Kevin Johns, that was his game plan. We didn't even see them think about going under center today, and nor for the whole rest of the year, aside from a couple of times last week. Bottom line is, you got to find a way to do something that works. And why go away from it if it was working? Until somebody stops it, why would you even change your approach?
You shouldn't. Yeah, I think sometimes people try to outcoach themselves. Do what you do and do it well. And I don't know why you went away from what was being successful. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. It blows me away that, and the people that, I know one of the things that everybody wants to talk about is they'd love to see Jackson Arnold with, a full complement of receivers next year, and that kind of stuff. And the O-line looking better than it did, and blah, 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 blah. Even just having a competent offensive attack. But here's the deal. There's no two ways around it. Coach Venables can't even afford it. You can't afford to hitch your wagon to that star. Because make no mistake, he's going to keep his job. Winning that game was great, right? Winning that game against Alabama, it helped you out. It's a signature moment for him in his history, and they're going to give him at least another year because of it. But if you think it's going to give him a ton of time, no way. And yes,
he's got limited time.
Yeah, it'll be before the bowl game, I would guess. That'd just be my guess. Maybe not, but I would think so. I think that you're looking at bringing in they should be announcing an offensive coordinator any minute now. It could be at any time. So, to me, we'll see kind of what happens with that. But do I expect him to come back before the bowl game, or do I expect him to still be around when the bowl game gets here? No, I don't. I don't have anybody telling me that that's absolutely the case, but I seem to sometimes be on an island when I'm telling you that he ain't coming back at all. But I'm just telling you, I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't. And by the way,
I'm on that island with you.
He's been completely non-committal about coming back anytime that he gets asked about it too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Coach. What were you saying?
No, I was just going to say I'm on that island with you because he's not coming back. I mean, people can say what they want to, but he has no reason to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think he does either. And look, it may not even, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's all his fault even, because it's not all his fault. There was not, one thing I'll say about Chris Mason wasn't wrong in saying that, you can't blame everything on anybody aside from the Seth Luttrell, Joe John Finley hire, because to be honest with you, it was just bad. It was bad all the way around.
That's where it all started. And it unraveled. I mean, it unraveled from that very thing is the OC, and it started with the co-OC bullshit. I, I don't know. I was disappointed in BV for having that co-OC bullshit.
Yeah. I'm going to say this about that. And when it comes to all that stuff, what we and look, I loved it that Coach Venables, he's completely accountable for everything that goes on in that program. Unlike a lot of coaches that we know, including BK and Lincoln Riley and Mike Gundy, guys like that. These guys are not accountable for what the fuck is going on in their program, and Venables is. But I'm going to tell you this: from everything that I know that has been going on around that program, everything that I've heard from the people that I trust that's been going on around that program, it wasn't even his decision to make. He's supposed to be in charge of the whole thing. He wasn't. And apparently he wanted to fire Seth Luttrell long before the season started. Back in the spring even, and wasn't allowed to do so. Look, I know that that's a touchy situation because he's the guy, he's won a national championship as a player. His dad won a national championship as a player as well. I would just tell you that it wasn't all in BV's hands. And I'm absolutely happy with the fact that he took accountability, because you know what? There was a certain segment of the fan base that needed him to do that. Even though he's always accountable, they needed to hear that from him. That being said, I would just say that in the end, you started off on the wrong foot. We're hearing a lot of weird stuff about the medical room, the doctors and all that kind of stuff. I don't know exactly what's going on there. I hope that gets itself worked out as well. But the bottom line is, if this defense is really good like we expect it to be next year, because it probably should be better. The floor has raised on the defensive side of the ball. The floor has raised. You don't have to be as good on offense as you're used to being, but you got to have something there. There's no way, if you want to win a national championship, if you want to compete in the SEC, that you can be one side of the football is good and the other one isn't. You can't have it. Even if it's the best on one side of the football, if the other side isn't good at all, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. And that's where I feel like it's absolutely the same thing that we saw from Notre Dame all of last year, was that they could lock you down and a game like against USC with Caleb Williams, they beat the shit out of him. They never let him get it going, period, whatsoever, and they rolled in that game. Kind of similar to what we saw in the Alabama game for OU. They never allowed Jalen Milroe to get going. Yeah. Never at all. But in the end, there was other games that you saw them, that the offense, you needed something from the offense, and you just didn't get it. And so that's why I feel like it's very similar to what we saw last year. You know what I mean? It should be one of those things. I feel like if you can just turn it around a little bit, that next year you could see a similar type of thing as what you're seeing from Notre Dame this season, right? It is what it is.
Well, and Jason, y'all are, and we talked about it briefly, but y'all are just a hair away from being back in the hunt. And just like you're talking about right now, that's where we were a year ago. Little change in some things, and we're here. We are in the hunt, and y'all are just, I was thinking about this today, and you'll probably laugh at me, but I was after the ball game and stuff, and I got out and I was in the hot tub chillaxing because that was a pretty intense game for me, and so I'm in there chillaxing and relaxing, and I thought about, because I'm keeping up with OU and the game, and I thought to myself, damn, I'm really kind of glad we didn't have to play OU this season, because like I said, y'all are a hair away, man. You really are. So I just, I think y'all need to get your offense coordinator hired. Once that happens, I think you're gonna see things come back together and gel again. Just like you mentioned earlier, we went out and got Denbrock. He's brought this team a long ways in a short amount of time, and I think y'all are going to do the same thing.
I hope so. And somebody said, "What's our offensive ceiling for 2026? 30th to 40th?" I think that that'd be fine if that's where you end up. I don't think it's your ceiling. I think that let's just assume that you get back. Let's assume you get back Nick Six. Let's assume that you get back. Well, I don't know. Let's say you get 3 of these guys back, right? And you add a couple of good ones. With that running back room, and if you go and spend the money, because we know that they're talking about an infusion of NIL money to go get 5 or 6 playmakers, 5 or 6 on either side of the ball that are going to make a difference. I think that the thing is that you could probably come out there and with a guy like, say, Mateer, this kid, he kind of gives you Baker vibes. I mean, and I'm going to say that, lightly, because you got to do a lot to become Baker. But he seems to be the kind of guy that doesn't get rattled whenever things aren't going perfect, right? Which is what you haven't seen out of Jackson Arnold this year. If he's not a clean pocket, you don't know what the fuck he might do. He might just throw the ball on the ground. Who knows? But that's where I feel like when you start looking at this kind of stuff, you get a guy that comes out there and it doesn't freak him out if protection breaks down a little bit. He's not afraid to get out of the pocket and make something happen with his legs, or just buy himself a little more time so a receiver can get open. That's what I think. So to me, yeah, listen, I feel like you have an opportunity to go out there and really be a contender, because let's just be real. Do I think that the SEC is very good? Absolutely. I think it's the best conference in the country. Would I tell you that it's unwinnable? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think that you could look. We watched Georgia Tech go 8 fucking overtimes with Georgia the other night, and God forbid,
and they pissed it down their leg. Damn it, they pissed it down their leg.
We were talking about that all during the game, didn't we? Yeah. Listen, wow. I think a guy like Mateer works out well, Eric. I think he does. I think he works out well for you. And I think that no matter what, whoever it is that comes in here, because they're going to have to go find somebody in the portal. There's no doubt. But you do have to have a guy that comes in and pushes for the job. I mean, look, I think that Michael Hawkins needs to stay around. I think he's a dog, and I think that he's the kind of player that could be in New York at the end of one of these next few seasons. I really do believe that. But I know that you don't give nothing to nobody. You got to have a competition going on for that position, just like you have anything else. If you end up with Arbuckle, would Mateer have a leg up probably on him? Probably. But guess what? If he's going to be stuck on the kid, I wouldn't love that either. That's all I'm saying. In the end, I think that Arbuckle, I like his offense. I think he's done a pretty good job. And look, he's he's young, he's innovative. There's some things that we can do. Now, would this work out? Who knows? Scott Christopher, Mateer would be worse than what we have. He's playing in a Mountain West schedule. It's pathetic. Nobody, and I mean nobody, would have been good behind this O line. Okay, so what are you getting at? Okay, so you think that Mateer is bad. Okay, well, I haven't seen that. And I've seen his offensive line break down, and he didn't completely come apart. So I don't know exactly what you're saying. Now, would I tell you that Craddock is, but not Craddock, but Arbuckle is the guy that I want first and foremost? No. I think if I was going to get the guy if it's the guy that I want, I already told you guys, it's Will Stein. That doesn't look like it's happening. But if I'm going to go, next would be, well, I think you have to go and give everything you possibly can to try to go and get a guy like, you got to go try to get a guy like Dan Mullen first, because I think that he would help Coach Venables in a lot of ways. It's not every day that you could get an offensive coordinator that has won 100 games as a head coach in the SEC, the bulk of which came at Mississippi State of all damn places, and has coached quarterbacks the way he has throughout his career. You don't need him to be a recruiter if he's the OC. That's not what you need from him. So I don't buy all that stuff. Now, other than that, I've told you guys before that I'm a real big fan of G.J. Kinney. I'm also a really big fan of Craddock. I think that Craddock would be very good. And I think that the quarterback that they bring with them, if Craddock comes to town, would be probably very, very good. Mullen probably going to North Carolina. We don't know that. It's possible, but there's also, there's another guy that's possible that could end up over there as well. And I don't understand this, but people that are saying that, what's his name? John Summerall, the head coach at Tulane. That guy was killing it before he got to Tulane. He's killing it now. If it was me, if I'm North Carolina, that's the guy I'm going after. When will they make the announcement? Probably early on this week, I would think. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened tomorrow. It just kind of depends on who they're going to get. It just depends on who they're going to get. Yeah, see, and I know that not everybody's not everybody's on the same page. Yeah, Buster Faulkner, huh? Yeah, that's the offense we want, the Georgia Tech offense. Is that seriously the offense that we want at Oklahoma? I could see Carolina going after Jamie Chadwell as well.
I think you need to hire Buster Hyman.
Buster Hyman, huh? Yeah, it's possible. Hey, listen, I wouldn't be that damn surprised if you ended up with a guy like Will Stein over there at North Carolina. If he's going after a head coaching job, why not there? You guys are hilarious. Hilarious.
I love old Ryman Lemon.
Wait. Who's resigned? Did that just happen for real? Are you just fucking around, Chris, or what? What about Riley's brother? No. There's not going to be any connections to Lincoln Riley, guys. You know better. Adela. Damn it. I just think Dan Mullen could fix it pretty quickly. I agree. Yeah. And I think you better fix it pretty quickly. Because you're going to run it. Yeah, Gus Malzahn, you're really serious about Gus. Huh. He's going to FSU to be the offensive coordinator. That's insanity.
I'd heard that earlier today.
I heard it, but I didn't believe it. I heard there was rumors about it, but wow. Okay. Well, go figure. All those folks at UCF that, hey, yeah, we're part of the Big Four now. Part of the old Big Four. Bishop Frank, thank you for the renewed. Oh, you're giving away membership, gifted away a membership to Big Trap. Got it. Big Trap got a membership.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it.
Bishop Frank, you're a good man.
That's awesome. North Carolina won't spend money, according to Mac Brown. North Carolina has plenty of money to spend. I don't believe that. Mac Brown might be in as much as I love Mac. I got respect for Mac.
Mac's got a red ass.
He could have a little red ass right now. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for, Coach.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Word was picking up rapidly that Gus was about to get his walking papers this week, probably beat him to the punch. Yeah, it definitely didn't go the way they wanted it to go this last year for sure. I think that there were some things that they did better, but I didn't love as much as I do like, I didn't hate their quarterback situation as far as who they went and got, but he didn't have the speed to kind of make it work there, and he doesn't throw it well enough. Wasn't the best move. I don't know. Mac was done wrong. Well, he was. I agree. I agree with you, Eric, but I do think that, yeah, should he have been able to go out on his own terms? Sure. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. You got to win. And for everybody that wants to sit here and act like the ACC is equal to the SEC this year, get your head examined, because we know better than that shit. Yeah. We know better than that shit. They're literally, Clemson has an opportunity to be in the playoff, and they just lost today to, I know everybody loves on South Carolina. South Carolina's not one of the better teams in the SEC. You're a made man now. Yeah, you were already a made man. You already were. Can we get the Indiana head coach to Blake? It's not going to work here. We're not getting rid of BV here right now. Not doing it.
That's asinine.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of BV. Don't want Arbuckle after they lost to Wyoming. Why did he look bad in that? Because I got to tell you, Washington State ain't that fucking good. They lost a lot of dudes from last year. The fact that they won so many games as they did tells you that offense was really good. They also lost to UNM.
Yeah.
But to me, it looked like their defense was god awful. Had to have been, because UNM not that good. UNM not that good.
No.
It just isn't.
No.
Now, Bronco Mendenhall's a good coach. I'll give Bronco,
Bronco does a good job.
He's a good coach, but
I
don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it. But yeah. They only scored 14 against a terrible one. Okay. Well, again, I think there's some things that happen, but I would it seems to me like if you have a good game plan and you've got the kind of players that you can get at Oklahoma, that it could work. He hasn't been my favorite from day one. So just so we all understand that, Arbuckle hasn't been my favorite from day one. He would, out of the guys that it seems like they're close on, he'd probably be the last one that I would go with. But I'm not saying that I don't think he can do well. I'm just saying he hasn't been my favorite. I think Craddock is probably, if we're talking about coordinators that I think that can come from being a coordinator at one of the lower levels, I like Craddock more. He's also been a coordinator in the SEC. The first year that they were at Arkansas, he did a very good job, and he was the youngest coordinator in college football then. So I think
I like Arbuckle.
Yeah, I don't hate Arbuckle either. I'm just saying he's just not – he wouldn't be my first choice, And as I said,
sure.
Assuming that Will Stein is out of there's no chance to get Will Stein, my number one choice would be Mullen. That would be my first choice.
Well, and it makes sense. I mean, it really does. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You got a proven guy, like you said earlier. Mullen's a proven guy that's been successful as a head coach and
multiple number one
he
picks.
Can coach quarterbacks. And you're good.
Yeah. Multiple number one picks that he's coached. So not to mention,
yeah.
And look, if you can win 100 games in the SEC, only 16 guys have done it. Only 16 guys have done it. He's one of them. And the bulk of those wins came at Mississippi State, which, hell, I didn't know they'd ever won 100 games in the SEC, for God's sakes. I just can't even buy it. It's hard to believe. Mullen isn't – I don't think that's – you say that, SDR, that he isn't realistic. I don't think it's unrealistic if you give him the right amount of money. Now, I've also heard I've also heard him say that why would I take that job when I can wait and see and watch BV not get it done and then take the head coaching job? I can understand that too. Yeah, what happened to Kitley at Texas Tech? I don't know. I don't like him. I'm not a fan. I'm not. You guys know me. No tech coaches for me. I'm a no tech guy. But it is what it is. Go look at what. Look, okay. Arkansas was 2-10 both years. Why was he nominated for the Royals Award then? You can put it off on him if you want to, but do you remember a time that Arkansas was that freaking good? Do you? Because I don't. It doesn't matter who the hell's there. And also, are we really going to just say that, that it's not on Chad Morris? Because it's to the point that he's getting fired from high school jobs these days, guys. He knew well enough to know that to get away from him. He's done a good job. I mean, he did a good job last year whenever they were at Troy, and they looked real. They have the number 4 scoring offense in the country this year at Tulane. So it is what it is. I wouldn't go crazy about that. When they had McFadden, they had. Okay, that was all the way back to. Okay, that was probably 20 years ago then. Yeah.
That's when Moby Dick was a minnow.
Houston Nutt was their fucking head coach, man. Houston Nutt.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Houston Nutt hasn't been around the game for a while now. Yeah. Yeah. Petrino bolted and nothing since. True. This week is rivalry week, right? Who did the SEC put in that spot for OU? LSU. Everyone in Missouri wants us to be their rival because Arkansas sucks. LSU will learn to fear us, says Ryman Limit. I wouldn't mind that being another one of their rivals. I've heard stuff about Florida. I think that would be fun to, every other year go to the Swamp. I think it's and I think that when it comes to LSU, I think there's already a built-in hatred for them because of the playoff and then the national championship game that we've lost to them, so we don't like them. Back when Rosie O'Donnell was a little feller. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Tennessee fans wanted most of them that traveled here said that. Yeah. Yeah, but Tennessee's locked into their rivals. Yeah. Their one rival is always going to be Alabama, and their other one will always be Vandy. So that's not going to change. Some of these are not going to change, and this is why that they did this 2 years to see if they're going to go to a 9-game schedule. That brings up this. Oh, well, real quick, that brings this up. We saw the ACC come apart today a little bit, right? Miami gets beat at Syracuse. They have a huge lead and gag it away. This week in the CFP rankings, they had three ACC teams getting in, same as SEC getting 3 in as well. Should that change with Clemson getting beat by South Carolina and Miami getting beat by Syracuse? Coach? You're shaking your head. I'm gonna need a verbal response here.
Hell yeah. I mean, shit. I mean, why would it not?
It better, right?
I mean, why would it not? I mean, Jesus Christ! If it doesn't change,
fucking lose all year, man.
Yeah, hell.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see Miami doesn't deserve being there at all, in my opinion. They need to drop way down.
Nathan.
Well, and go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll finish. I'll get to Nathan. Don't worry.
No. I but hell, just in that same breath, you can talk about Georgia. Shit, yeah, they won in 8 overtimes over Georgia Tech. The shit they ought to be dropping. They ought to be dropping too. I mean, you got. I don't know. You got OSU that got beat today.
Oh yeah.
Hell, it's going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting as you talk about, how many of the SEC is going to get in, how many of the Big Ten is going to get in the ACC. This picture is kind of muddled after today.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. But
I think that they're going to put Ohio State in there with 2 losses. They're going to get in.
Well, they have to be. They have to be. But where?
Sure, they're going to be one of. It's going to be a shakeup. But I'm with you on this. Okay, wait. I'll go back to Nathan. No, they shouldn't get the 3rd seed. It should go to the. No, it should not go to the Big 12.
To the Big 12.
Come on.
Oh Jesus!
Come on, man.
What the hell are you smoking, brother?
I love Neelio.
You got some good shit over there.
I'm telling you. Look, I don't know who the hell is it going to be in the Big 12 championship game now. Who is it going to be? Because the second seed for sure is going to have 3 losses at the very worst.
Is Arizona State going to be in it?
They're in the championship. Yeah, they beat the shit out of Arizona today. Beat the shit out of them. But they're in it for sure. I'm not sure who the other one's going to be because there was all kinds of weird ass scenarios. ASU and Colorado. Okay, so let's assume ASU has just the 2 losses. They went 10-2. But let's assume that they win it. That means Colorado now has 4 losses because they already had 3. Colorado getting in. Colorado only gets into the playoff if they win that game. And that'll be 3 losses, which it'll give a 3rd loss to ASU. They're not going in either. If they're going to put a 3-loss team in, it's going to be from the SEC. Believe that. And I would tell you a 3-loss SEC team like Alabama or Ole Miss deserves to be in over a 3-loss Clemson or a 3-loss or a 2-loss Miami. No. They're going to get 2, provided Clemson. If Clemson wins the conference championship, they'll be in with 2, right? They'll be in with 2. And then you probably put SMU in with 2 because that'll just be their 2nd loss.
Yep.
Oh, it'll be Bama. You got to look at where they were. Last week, Alabama was number 13 in there. Number 13.
Yeah.
Next in line. They won big today over their rival. It will be them. And look, all these losses that have happened today probably did not help all the people that don't want to see the SEC getting the most number of teams in the playoff, and they're bitching and complaining. Danny Cannell is about to have a conniption fit. Danny Cannell is about to have a conniption fit.
Good for Danny.
The Big 12 deserves the conference championship game. That's it. The champion, whoever it is, they're going to get them in. And to be honest with you, I could say the same thing about the ACC, but I can see them putting 2 of them in there. And I'll tell you another thing. I don't give a shit if Boise State wins that fucking conference championship or not. They damn sure don't deserve a fucking bye.
No.
In the first
round. And that's where this whole thing is screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where this whole thing is screwed up. Is they don't deserve one. I don't give a shit if they win the conference. That's jacked up.
It's a Mountain West team. It's a Mountain West team, guys.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. And I think that they're going to probably give it to them. They've been the way that it's been voted all the way up until this point. That's what's happening. Bama should not be in it all. Why should Bama not be in it all, Nate? Tell me why. Tell me why.
Because Nate don't like them.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, I get that part. But you're going to tell me, how many teams do you really believe are going to be? Do you think that it? Let me just say this. How many of the teams that you think are going to be in the playoffs has an opportunity to win? And how many of the teams from either the ACC or the do you think Boise State would beat Bama? Because I don't.
Nope.
Bama has the better blowout loss over, South Carolina's not getting in either. They beat them. Bama beat them. Bama also beat Georgia. They lost to OU and Vandy. Okay. Vandy beat a lot of teams this year that they should. I mean, shit. When's the last time you knew Vandy to win any more than like 2 games?
Exactly.
Boise State will be better than Liberty last year. You think, oh, okay, good. But what does that mean? They sucked. I mean, okay. But we're giving them that they lost a close game early in the year to Oregon. Was why we think they're so good. It's ISU in the Big 12 championship game. Is it Iowa State? I think BYU still has a shot. Do they not? I don't know, because I'm going to tell you now, the fucking weird little stuff they got for their tiebreakers is weird, man.
Very weird. And they'll change it in the middle of the damn.
You know better than this. You've been drinking too much tonight, brother. Come on. Stop it. Stop.
Oh, Charles.
It's going to be a long off season for sure. Stop it. Selection committee is soft. What does that mean? I know Tennessee is in for sure. They had to have beaten Vandy today then. Yeah, no doubt. Oklahoma 6-6, USC 6-6. Any chance for a game? I haven't heard it coming from ESPN yet, so no. The projections don't have them going. Doesn't sound like. I would love it if they did. BYU has to lose for the Clones to get there. Who's the Clones? Oh, the Cyclones. BYU has to lose.
Yeah.
What's the score in that game? I'm just watching it. They don't have the score.
I'm looking it up right now.
It's up on the screen. They seem happy. They look like they're winning.
21-10.
Okay.
21-10.
Yeah, they're going to be in then. Yeah, those. We never had to deal with those weird Big 12 tiebreaker rules. No shit. They changed the rules.
Thank God.
Twice in 2 weeks. No, he's being facetious here, because Oklahoma was in and then out and then in again in 2 weeks. It was weird, man. It was a bunch of weird shit going on. They were changing the rules. Yeah,
they were changing them like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did not want Oklahoma and Texas playing for the Big 12 championship game on their way out. Did not. Think it was
absolutely not
for the Gasparilla Bowl or the Independence Bowl, West Virginia or Virginia Tech. Then I hope it's Virginia Tech, for fuck's sake, because I don't think that. Why would you put them up against a Big 12 team right away? I mean, we just got out of the Big 12. I don't want to. Who cares about that game? And I think if you really want to make money, why would you not be trying to make that USC and Oklahoma game? I mean, that would probably, it would do equal views as, I guarantee it would do equal views to the first round games.
Yeah.
Of the playoff.
I agree.
No two ways around it. No two ways around it. No.
Man, that'd be a great game.
If the SEC is getting 3, and then that means so is the ACC. Warriors Paradise. No way. No way. They were changing the rules, Dilligaff. They were changing it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, there was no clarification. That's horseshit. They changed the rules. They didn't even know their own damn rules.
They didn't know what the hell they were. They changed it. Yeah, it was wild. Oh hell yeah! That would be a huge one. I can't even imagine why they're not even talking about it, except for the fact that it probably has something to do with SC saying "fuck you, don't do it. We don't want it." Because Lincoln would lose his shit if he had to. He don't want nothing to do with it. Do you ever see a situation where a team gets a minor bowl invite and said school turns it down to a big percentage of players transferring out? Do I see that? Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
I could see it. I think there's some things. These are among the things that you've got that are issues right now. Because, and I will say this though, and for everybody who wants to hate on Coach Prime, I loved it what he said yesterday that we're going to all play. We're going to all go out there and play in this bowl game, no matter where it is, because we've seen what it can do to your program when you go out there and lay an egg in a bowl game. And it can mess with your program. So we're going to finish what we started. I love hearing that. I don't know how many people are going to adhere to such a thing, but I do love hearing that. Loved hearing that. I thought that was the right thing to do.
Intentionality's there. Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah. The bowl tie-ins still involve the Pac-12 format. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what all that is, right? I mean, look, I couldn't tell you. I'd be lying if I told you why. But it is what it is.
Well, it's my boy Trojan Fight.
Trojan Fight. There he is. He's here.
Trojan, let me say something to you, brother. I was impressed with your Trojans today. I was impressed. Put up a great fight.
They did.
But at the end of the day, y'all still suck.
I knew this was coming. Knew it was going to be something like that. Oh, D-Max Bravo. Nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. Good for you, boys.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, D-Max. If, hell, A&M has the ball inside the 3-yard line twice and can't punch it in. If they punch it in those 2 times, y'all get your ass beat by A&M today. But your defense stood strong. I will hand it to them for that. But
I must as well.
3 times they pissed down their leg not getting the ball in the end zone, or twice.
Hey, I'm kind of with you too. I hope that somehow you end up seeing Texas play Notre Dame in the.
I'd love to.
In the playoff.
I would love
that'd
to.
Be a lot of fun. I think it would be a lot of fun. He said congrats on the win earlier. He'll take his lumps. Trojan Fight says. Good. See, you can only make it if BYU loses. Yeah, that's true. BYU is not looking like they're going to lose. They're up 21-10 with 4 minutes left and driving. There'd have to be a serious turnaround here, it appears, for that to happen.
Yep.
So it'll be BYU. It'll be BYU, and is that even the case? I mean, if BYU wins,
and Arizona State,
it'll be Arizona State and BYU. They had a hell of a game last weekend. So, and apparently there was some controversy there. I don't know. Yeah, I enjoyed watching that. We were watching that. And guys, what about holy shit, that game last night, though, that 8 overtime Georgia game. Unbelievable. Wow.
Georgia Tech should have won that sucker.
They did piss down.
I tell you what,
17-0 lead in the first half.
Yeah. They had a chance to put them away, and they just didn't get it done.
Yeah. If the Arbuckle news, I would tell you that if it's true what we're hearing that Utah is looking to hire him, if that's actually getting close to happening, that means that you decided on somebody else. I would tell you that. Because you think he's going to go to Utah instead of Oklahoma? I don't. And you could say stability. I don't know that I don't buy all this stability bullshit anyways, number one. But I would also say that it's not that stable at Utah right now. They've been, as a matter of fact, Kyle Whittingham was talking about he's got a decision to make on whether he's going to come back or not. So, did any of the rumored OCs have their offenses looking good these last 2 weeks? Tulane's been fine. Tulane has been fine all year.
Yeah.
So, as far as Arbuckle, they didn't look good against Wyoming. Apparently, they only put up 14. Who are we talking about? Who was a huge locker? Who are y'all talking about? Oh, Will Lee from Aggie with that pick stick. He's a douche.
Yeah.
But he was a bad dude. I've been hearing that about Whittingham too. So why would he go? I mean, I guess if they're going to hire him, what are they hiring him for? They're going to hire him as a coordinator with Whittingham leaving? I don't know. Okay, who did Tulane get beat by? And what was the score? Or did they look really bad or something? I don't know. I'll just tell you, I've been watching a lot of other games, but I didn't notice that one. So to me, I know what they've done throughout the year, and I know that they looked really good against, especially in their game against K-State. They had a real chance to win that game. They put up.
Tulane played Memphis.
Oh, Memphis
beat them 34-24.
Memphis is good. They've been good. Yeah. Okay. What was the score in that one? Yeah. What was the score, Coach?
34-24.
Okay. Huh. Didn't look very good. I wonder how much of that may have to do with the fact that they got a bunch of coaches about to leave. Maybe they weren't focused. Is John Summerall leaving? Greg is saying Summerall is in the lead at North Carolina. I've been hearing that too. He was the first name that popped up on ESPN. First name that popped up. So yeah, possibility that could be. Memphis would probably win the Big 12, says Scott Christopher. They'd be in contention for it. I don't know about winning it, but they'd be in contention for it. The Big 12, the problem with the Big 12 is it's just so much parity there. There's nobody that really stands out above the rest, and I think that hurt.
You're 100% correct. There is a lot of parity. They're all shitty.
I didn't say that. That was Coach.
I did.
That was Coach.
I did.
A lot of parity.
I did.
A lot of parity there is what I'm saying. 27-17. Okay. Sort of like the SEC, a lot of parity in the SEC. You think it's the same thing there, Fatty, do you? I don't. It's just me. That's just me. I know this, man. You can look and you can say what you want, but I know that when you look at the NFL draft and you look at the championships and the national championships over the last 13 years, it's pretty clear who's the best conference. All you got to do is really look at the draft. They're all come out of the damn SEC pretty much. That's wild on this one, though. Yeah, let's talk about this a little bit. Can you believe that? Malzahn leaving a head coaching job to go be a coordinator? Pretty weird.
Well,
I'm not a big fan of his offense, to be honest with you. I know they put up points, but I just don't love it.
So he's going to Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
That sinking ship. Who
Right.
in the hell would want to go to Florida State? Oh my God!
Unless it's to be the head coach, why would you?
You exactly. You talk about the Titanic. FSU is just a picture of the Titanic.
Well, the whole fucking thing. Think about this. The whole fucking thing is they let last year destroy their entire next season. That's what, and think about it, that's exactly what Coach Prime was talking about. Don't make no mistake. Exactly. He wasn't talking about anybody else.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there is a chance. I think that there's been talks that nobody really is saying out loud, because I don't think that they want to continue to have people saying that there's no damn way that Mullen wants to be involved in it. But apparently there's some back channeling that's going on there. Mulls, yeah. And Sperry to right the ship. Yeah, Kevin Sperry. Yeah. Kevin Sperry. Yeah, I think he has to. I don't think that there's a doubt about it, man. I don't think here's the other thing. I don't think there's one guy that can get it done versus another. I think there's a number of guys that can get it done. You just got to have – look, I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I wouldn't and I know this wouldn't work out, but Kevin Johns could probably handle the job. Kevin Johns could probably handle the job. But I don't see that really going down. But I put a lot of it on Norvell himself for not having a legit backup last season. That was awful. Well, and here's the thing. I don't know that they didn't have a legit backup. They got that guy hurt. And then once they got him hurt, and then he wasn't in, it was just hurt for the Louisville game, but they still won somehow, right? The other thing I would say is that the problem is that they were so heavy in the portal, and they knew that backup quarterback, who was a 5-star, by the way, knew that he wasn't going to get his shot, that they were going to give it to DJU or somebody like that, because they were trying to go get Cam Moore also. So he jumped into the portal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just had a commercial on here for a body wash, and the lady told me to wash your sack. Well, then we'll go wash your fucking sack, for God's sakes. Jesus. Nasty ass Emilio. Dumb and Dumber quote. What is the Dumb and Dumber quote? Let me find it. Sorry, Neil. Dilligaff. I don't think I did. I missed it. Where is it? Shit. Lord, that's sick. He says, "Be right back." I don't know.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. I don't think that it's a BV thing here. When you ask that why we didn't trust Kevin Johns, I don't think that's the case. And why it is that Seth Luttrell decided not to, he hired him and then stuck him as an analyst in charge of like advanced scouting. I have no idea what that shit was about. We also know I've heard of stories of Casey trying to work with the young quarterbacks and Kevin Johns trying to work with the young quarterbacks, and Seth Luttrell saying, "Don't listen to those guys. I want you doing it my way." Wild. Say it again. Hey, say it again, Dilligraph. Oh, so you're saying there's a chance? Yeah. I didn't miss that. I did see that. But I don't know. I think that I wish I knew what was going to happen, guys. If I was, if I had an actual idea, I would tell you. But to me, I think they've done a pretty good job of masking who it's going to be. I have heard that there's more interest, that Mullen has more interest than he's led on, because I think that the money would be right. I think that the money would be right. I also think if it's the money that they talked about offering to him, that it would be enough to get a guy like Will Stein also, but that's just me. Thank God the Aggies have continued their tradition of going 8-4. Yeah. 8-4 A&M. Shocker. Yeah, I think that they got to be a little better on offense, and that Weigman, I think, is really.
They've got to be better.
I don't think he was good for that offense, right? I like Marcel. I think I like Marcel Reese also, but I also think that he's brand new to it, and maybe a little much to put in front of him was to win this big game.
Well, I wasn't impressed with their play calling tonight, offensively.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and I think a lot of Colin Klein, but there were times that it didn't seem like he was on the same page with it just didn't. I know in the Notre Dame game it did not. You could see
No.
that they were screaming. He was screaming, "Run the fucking football" on the sideline. I saw it. I mean, you could read his lips. He said it often.
Yep.
But I think that Colin Klein's a pretty good coordinator, but I don't know that they ever really got it going this year. And I think that you're still having probably a little bit of hangover from the Jimbo era. You know what I mean? Some of those tight games down the stretch, it just seems like they kind of fell back. Like that South Carolina game, they fell apart just like they were a Jimbo team. Fell apart late in the game. When it got tight, all of a sudden they came apart like Jimbo was still coaching them. Joe John for the triple fat. Oh, fuck. Yeah, Joe John need to go away. Go away. Why do people believe in Texas? They only score 31 or more points 2 out of the last 6 SEC games. Yeah, but why do they believe in them? Because they won all those games. They won all those games, man. Except for the Georgia game. Now, and their defense is pretty good, but I would say, I would say they also played against the worst offenses in the SEC also. So, look, guys, for all of us Texas haters, don't worry. They're not winning the fucking Natty. They're not winning the Natty. Clip it, remember it, write it down, take a fucking picture. I don't care. Y'all aren't winning the fucking Natty.
But the brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Fuck Texas. All right? Fuck Texas. Throw them down. Throw them down. Throw them down. Yep. I'll put a bunch of those in there too. If you want to become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia family, you too can throw up these emojis that I'm putting there. Now, we have the horns down emojis. That's one of the perks that you get, along with the Discord and everything else. Yeah, good stuff.
And hit the like button. Wipe your feet, people. Wipe your feet.
Defense was great against Georgia. The offense just gave Georgia short fields. I don't think it was great against Georgia, but it was good. Look, the defense is better than I thought it was at Texas, but you guys ain't. Again, as I'll say, you ain't winning shit. Not going to win the SEC championship game because you always notice that Georgia has a bad game and then they turn it around the next time around and they beat the brakes off of whoever they play. A la the playoff a couple of years ago when they had their scare game against Ohio State and then just boat race TCU's sorry asses. And yes, it's always F Texas. Fuck Texas. Always. Always, always, always. Yeah, they're not going to win the SEC either. Hey, you know what? If they don't win the SEC, Coach, that could line up pretty well for you. Ohio State losing today, I think you got the 5 seed from that, right? Don't you think?
I most definitely think we should end up with the 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because
dude, everybody
that ought
against Georgia. Freaking Carson Beck's been trash this year. What are you talking about? Stop it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say. I mean, the question is how much are they going to drop Ohio State?
As I said, I think they still get in, but I do think that they're going to drop them some. Yeah, they should probably be now. That 6. Would be kind of fucked up if they put them the number 12 seed and you have to play them in the first round. I don't really see that going down.
No.
But
no, I think they you know they'd have to put them in probably around 6 or 7. I would think.
The CFP feels like a total crapshoot to me. I think it's Oregon, maybe. Look, we got to see from them. I mean, you know, they did their thing for the look. They're the only team in the country that went undefeated. The reason that I like Oregon more than I did to start the year, that defense came around a lot. Oh, Texas 24-10. You're high. Fuck out of here with that shit. In their backyard. Are you insane? In Atlanta? Fuck out of here. Quinn will lose his shit in this game. Come on, brother. Who's been picking the Natty? And Coach, who's your pick? All right, let's pick the Natty. Let's say who. I'm going to tell you. It's going to be between Oregon and Notre Dame. That's who I've got those 2 teams. I think one of those 2 teams wins it.
Well, I mean, I can't argue that. You know, number one, I'm damn sure not going to pick against the Irish. If I did, I'd be a damned idiot. Wouldn't be a fan for sure. Mm-hmm. So I would say Oregon as well. Oregon and Notre Dame in the championship game.
ASU, Boise State, or SMU. Zias, Oregon can win it. The rest of them, that ain't fucking happening. But okay. I think Oregon, because of their defense, I mean, I think they've got the best defensive line guy right now. You know, when you start looking at who they're going to have in there, Mateo Uiagalelei has been unbelievable all year long. And he's not the only one. Their D-line is unbelievable. I didn't know that they were going to all come together this quickly on that defense. That's why any questions that I had. And the other thing is that you haven't seen Dan Lanning get it together yet. You just hadn't seen him do it. Yeah. Well, they're the second Big Ten team, but they're not going to be the second Big Ten team. They're going to put 4 of them in there because it's going to be Ohio State. They're going to put Indiana in. They're going to do it. Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon. They're all going in. Now, does Ohio State have enough talent to win the whole thing? They do.
They do.
Does Georgia have enough talent to win the whole thing? They do.
They do.
Does Texas? Maybe. Yeah, they do, but they won't. And I don't think Ohio State will either, just to be honest with you.
Well, my question is, will Ryan Day still be there?
That's a good question. That's 4 in a row, bro. That's 4 in a row, and they were at the shoe.
And on this one, they were supposed to win it.
You know, SMU has a legitimate shot at the title. Mike, you got to explain this. Because what? A legitimate shot? Why?
What makes you think that?
Why? Yeah, why? Well, you wouldn't mind winning. Okay, I get it. Well, that's you'd rather see winning, but I'm saying who does it though? Like who really does it? If they fired Ryan Day, well, yeah, you'd have to go after him as a coordinator. But it's not going to. I don't know that they're going to. I'll say this. They could. I think he now has to go win the Natty or he's gone. But I think they're going to give him that opportunity to go win it. Nope. This is an easy game. I'll just answer it for him. No. No. They're getting as much as an SEC or Big Ten team gets just by staying independent.
I don't understand why people keep asking that.
They really want it to happen, man. They just think it's so fucked up that you don't have to win a conference championship game to get there.
Well, you know what, guys? You know, we're paying the price because if you look at it right now, I mean, we're probably going to be the number 4, sitting at number 4, and that would give us
number five. You can't get them.
Well, what I'm saying is we could end up ranked in the top 4.
Yeah. Oh.
And get if, like you said, we can only get to number 5. If we were in a conference, we could get that 4 seed or higher. But at the end of the day, guys, quit asking the damn question about a conference. We don't want to be in a damn conference,
no.
And we don't need to have a conference. You know,
I think that if they were going to be in a conference, they'd have been in there a long time ago. And the thing is that at the time when Notre Dame was willing to be a Big Ten team, they didn't want them, and it was anti-Catholic bullshit. And they haven't forgot about that shit. They have not forgot about that at Notre Dame. Believe that. In fact, I think that if they were to join a conference, it may not even be the Big Ten.
It won't be the Big Ten. If we're gonna join a conference, what really makes sense, because all our other sports play in the ACC, that is the one that truly makes sense for us to go to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go play in the Big 12.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to happen, guys. And here's the thing. And here's the other thing. They're not going to, would they go do it if they said you have to join a conference to be able to play in the playoff? Sure.
Then we're going to a conference.
Sure they would. But aside from that, let me just save you on the suspense on that. They'll never do that. They'll never do that. Because the reason that they are going to want them in here, they're going to want them in the playoff anytime they can get them in the playoff. Anytime. Notre Dame draws more eyes than almost any other program in the country. And some of them are hater eyes, but you watch them.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of Catholics in this world that watch them.
Yep.
They do have a partnership with the ACC. That's why they play so many ACC teams. Correct. So if they, I mean, you know, we can act like they don't play in the conference, but they kind of do.
Playing in the ACC is a lot.
They kind of do. In the end,
and then we.
Who's the smart ass? Me? That's for sure, Neilio. You knew better. You already knew that. Notre Dame should play Ohio State. It could happen.
Hey, I'd love it. We almost beat their ass when we didn't have a damn offense coordinator, and only had 10 men on the field twice. So, yeah, I'm good.
Why do you think this, Charles? Because it's not going to happen, bro. It's not. Notre Dame will be in the ACC in 20. They're already basically in the ACC, but no, they're not going to be in the ACC may not exist in 2026. They probably still will.
Guys, if we go to the ACC, we lose money.
Yeah. Right now, they're able to pick their schedule as they want it. Right? They do. They are. And you know what? Do I agree that Do I agree that I'd like to see them have a better schedule than what we saw this year? Sure. But these schedules are made years in advance, by the way.
Yeah.
Years and years in advance. I don't know why you think that. I'm not eating crow for nothing. I'll be surprised if they join any conference, it would probably be somebody like the ACC or the Big 12, but I don't see that really happening. And I know that everybody thinks it's automatic that they go to the Big 10. I understand it for the sake of a lot of their rivals are in there. If there were a time that now I would say this part though. The reason I could see them being a Big 10 is because, say, SC decides they're not going to play because they let Lincoln get his way, right? They're not going to play you as a non-con. And all of a sudden you stop playing some of these other quote-unquote rivals that you play often. Okay, I could see that. But, Charles, you're going to have to tell me more than it's just going to happen for me to, agree with you, just so you know. You're going to have to give me a reason why it's going to happen. Yeah, you know what? They were working on a kind of membership with the Big 12 just last year. You do know that, right, Neilio? It was like partly in the conference, partly not in the conference. It was kind of the same thing that they're doing with the ACC.
Yeah.
They were working on that. Does Okie Light fire Mike Gundy finally? No, they don't. This is why they will never be serious about college football. Because they ain't got the fucking stones to do it. Clowns. How you could let that man get away with all that shit? I don't just agree with you, bro. I mean, you're going to have to give me your actual reason. I could see a situation where Notre Dame loses first round game, then it turns into, well, if they were in a conference, they would have a bye. How's that? Because if you're in a conference and you lose
the conference game,
it doesn't even make sense. I mean, if they were going to lose, they were going to lose either way. In the end, I think you still continue to get in no matter what. And the truth is that number 5, that's basically like getting a bye. You're going to get a home game against the 12 seed. A home game against the 12 seed. More times than not is going to be the group of 5 team, group of 6 team, whatever.
Guys, when this bracket was created, that 5 spot was actually created for Notre Dame. Whether you want to admit it or not admit it, that's up to you. But I'm telling you, it was built for the Irish.
Well, you just know the mullet would rather be down at Grand Lake at his lake house chugging Natty like than coaching. But if that was the case, he'd already fucking left. I mean, he could go down the freaking road by now. He doesn't have to hang around. Shit is wild. They're not firing him, man. They're not doing it. Coach, we've been going for a while. I know you're getting tired. I'm getting a little tired too. We'll kind of break this up. But guys, yeah, just in the end, I don't see it. Man. And I do think if I'm going to give a pick, I think I'm going to pick Notre Dame to win it, man. I think Notre Dame probably wins it this year. It'd be kind of wild if they did. But if it's not them, I think it's going to be Oregon. I think that it would have surprised me if somebody like Georgia wins it. No, it wouldn't. Not even a little bit. It wouldn't. Would it surprise me if Texas did? Yeah, it would a lot. So don't see that really going down. But I think that in the end, the best 2 teams right now, I think it's pretty clear. The best 2 teams to me are Notre Dame and Oregon. And we'll kind of see from there. I would also say that Georgia winning it wouldn't surprise me because they've been there so much. They've been in these situations. So this is nothing new for them. And this is the kind of thing that they can get hot at the right time and go win. Right? They can get hot at the right time and go win.
Yep.
And Kirby, they could also figure it out on defense. I don't know that they do, but I think that really right now, the best 2 teams to me right now going into the thing, it's clear it's Notre Dame and it's Oregon. And so we're going to see. but we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. That's why we play.
The number 5 seed was built for the Irish. That was built for them to win, to get that seed. That's why they agreed. Notre Dame agreed to not having access to the top 4 seeds to getting a bye because they didn't want to go into a conference. So we'll see. There you go. In this, okay, they sit at home, but you know what, Mac? Here's the other thing. Didn't you just hear what Lane Kiffin was saying a couple of weeks ago? Tennessee. I mean, if Tennessee was to play in the conference championship game and get beat, they're out. So what? It's better off for Tennessee to sit at home. Even though they're tied, have the same amount of losses as Georgia does. It's probably worse for Georgia. If Georgia loses again, they're still going to be in. The point is, there's a lot of people that think that it's better to not. If you're in the situation that, like, say, Indiana's in right now, they're going to be in the playoff because they don't have to play anybody in that conference championship game. There's a lot of it. It doesn't bother me. I think that teams lose sometimes, man. I think that teams lose sometimes. A lot of things happen.
We lost.
I think if you look at the situation, they had a brand new coordinator. They definitely overlooked them. They just came off a big win on the road against Texas A&M.
I'm sure you didn't watch the game
coming together, huh?
I'm sure some of them didn't even watch the game, but Riley was hurt in that second half, and they didn't run him, and he couldn't throw. I mean, but that's a coaching decision. They should have pulled him and put backup in, which we didn't do. But hell, we lost it. You know what? We own it.
Since then, he's gotten a lot damn better.
Yeah, we own it, and we've just beat the shit out of everybody we've played since.
They can go no higher than number 5 in the playoff seedings.
In the bracket, yeah,
they can't be number 1 to 4. They could be number 1 in the country in the polls, and not get higher than the 5 seed. So where everybody, and I think that the fact that they don't play a conference championship game, that's why, right?
And we're okay with that. Y'all have heard me say that 100 times. We don't give a shit if we're the 5th seed and we don't get a first round bye. So really, that first round game is our conference championship game, in sorts. So who cares? Let's play.
Yeah. Notre Dame should have called LSU's medical staff. They'd have had him back to 100% better in less than a quarter. Dude came out of the locker room and from the tunnel hit a touchdown pass, man. Holy shit.
Billy Gaff, you're funny, man.
Hey, it's a ball game again. 24-18, and they're driving. Houston's driving. It may not.
Is it really?
It may not be over yet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty over there, and y'all have hot babes. Ireland. I haven't. The coach went to the Ireland. He went to the game when they were in Ireland last year.
Yeah. That was a pretty good time. I only had one hot babe though.
Yep, she went with you. She's American.
That's right.
She's from America.
That's right.
She's from America. All right, man. We've been going for a while now. Guys, I appreciate everybody coming in here. We'll be talking. Chances are I might get on here with like Bishop Frank and Legend and Coach Ricks to talk more OU stuff tomorrow. Kind of see how everything plays itself out here over the next couple of days. We may do something tomorrow. Depends on what Coach Ricks has got going on and stuff, but maybe more to talk about tomorrow. We'll kind of wait and see what happens.
Sure.
Was happy to have Coach on with me tonight, talk about some of the stuff, because I think a lot of it, I do want to equate what we were talking about with OU to last year's Notre Dame team and look at where Notre Dame is now. I think if you go and get yourself a good offensive coordinator, you could see this again next year. You could.
Yes, I agree. And Jason, we've talked about this from the get-go, the start of the season.
Yeah.
How there was so many comparisons between the two of us, and I think there still are.
Yeah.
As you're saying, go get the right OC, and y'all are going to be just fine.
Mm-hmm. And I think because I think there are some guys. I don't think it's the same kind of portal class that you had last year for quarterbacks, but I think there's some quarterbacks that are out there that possibility that they could be pretty good. And I just think it's a matter. You don't have to be number one in the country, man. You don't have to have that. What you have to have is the defense that you got right now or better, and you got to have a offense that has a game plan that fits and can go out there and execute. That's it. I think if you do that, then you're going to have a shot. But that's why I wanted to have Coach on here to have that conversation and just kind of remind everybody that is the fact. I mean, look, last year, they lost a couple of games. They lost a couple of games they probably shouldn't have, but it was because they couldn't put up the points they needed to put up when you run into a Louisville team with Jeff Brom. Jeff Brom's going to put up a fucking great offense every year.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We had no plan, and our OC sucked, so we sent him to Alabama.
Facts. He says, well, at least Dallas has a shot to win an NFL championship this year. Oh, wait. They do not. They do not. All right. All right, guys. Yeah. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. Coach, thank you for coming in as always. We love you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Guys, I
love all you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Everybody have a good one. Might see you tomorrow. Make sure you got your notifications on. That way you'll know if we pop on tomorrow.
And before you leave, wipe your feet.
Wipe them feet. Make sure that you have hit that like button. We've had 500 plus people in here, and we have just 27 likes.
Oh my God.
We're not even hitting that 10% mark, guys. Help us out here. Hit us that 10%. Appreciate it. Everybody come in though. Hit the like button. See you on the next one.
Hit it.